all ready to head off the trails. I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on the Spaced Out Radio's YouTube channel. If you guys haven't hit subscribe yet, please do. We would love to have you guys. And shout out to Bumblefoot for that amazing intro music. I always appreciate that. It really sets the tone, right, guys? Okay, so you guys, please follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. You guys can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. All of my shows are there. I try to keep it updated on a daily basis as much as I can. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress, and follow me on all the social media platforms at The Cryptid Huntress, except for Twitter. That's Huntress Jessica. So yeah, I hope you guys will find me over there. Also, if you'd like to support things that I do, like my shows, especially my remote viewing show I do every Thursday, you can join my Patreon. Just look for the Cryptid Huntress, of course. Okay. And also, I have an Etsy shop. It's called War Woman Goods, where you can get amazing vintage turquoise Native American made antique jewelry, just like the necklace I'm wearing tonight, in my shop. And it really helps support what I do, and it keeps me rolling. Okay. So, yeah, enough about me. I have a fantastic guest here tonight. I have Fred Roehl of Subarctic Alaskan Sasquatch. He's going to be in the studio with us in just a few minutes. He's running a little behind. As usual, the signal's a little bit off. So he's going somewhere where he can get better signal. And I'm going to bring him up in just a minute. Don't forget that after this show tonight, After Hours has a fantastic program set up for us. And so I want everybody to go hang out there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Fred, even though he's not here yet. And then we're going to get into some fun talk about what we've done at Spaced Out Radio. Okay. Including Las Vegas. Okay. We're going to talk about our trip. I know I've had one show with you guys since I've been back, but we're going to get into that since I got a little extra time. And I'm going to give you an update on what I've been doing. And yeah, I'm glad to see all you guys here in chat tonight. Okay. Let me go ahead and introduce Fred. When he gets here, I can just pull him right up, right? Okay, so Fred Roehl is a First Nations Alaska native and Curyung Tribal Council Member from Dillingham, Alaska. While he doesn't consider himself a researcher, he's dedicated to documenting the oral history of the Bristol Bay watershed and the state of Alaska as a whole. His YouTube channel, Subartic Alaskan Sasquatch, is a platform for reporting and recording Alaskan Hairy Man encounters. It's a source for Alaskans to get information about areas they might go hunting, fishing, or camping. And even if the information is not accepted by everyone, and boy, do I know how that goes, if it helps one person, then it's a success for him. With 500 to 2,000 people going missing each year in Alaska, he recognizes that not all are Sasquatch Hairy Man related. But if there's one, then that's way too many. And I 100% agree with that. And I also agree with Nina Williams, who wrote this earlier today. I saw this before the show started. She says, I totally admire Fred Roehl. He's an extremely talented storyteller of the encounters that have been taking place with the First Nation people and the visitors of his vast state of Alaska. If you guys know Fred, and if you know his YouTube channel, he's got one of the most fantastic YouTube channels on the internet. Okay. And he is a great storyteller. You're going to see that tonight. You know, he's been my guest here three or four times, actually, I think. And occasionally we do get cut off with a bad connection because he's out in the wilderness in the middle of Alaska. So it's just one of those things that happens when you are doing a live show and you just don't get service. Y'all know I usually have bad connections and I live in the city. So I think Fred probably gets better connections than I do. Okay, out there. So yeah, so he'll be here in just a minute. Shout out to everybody who hung out with us in Las Vegas. You guys are the best audience in the entire world. I mean, my moderators were there hanging out. I had Kat there and her son. Shout out to you guys. I had Tim Mothman was there. I just had so many people that were there, and I got to meet my entire Spaced Out Radio family there firsthand in person. And so, yeah, we had a really great time. And it was just a blessing getting to see everybody and just to get to be there with you guys. So yeah, good evening, everybody. Okay. Well, You know what? I was actually going to talk to Fred about some stuff that I've been talking about on my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress, tonight. And it involves some of the stories that he's been telling on his channel involving children. And if you guys are following me on my channel, you'll know that I just had a show not too long ago with my friend John Vendeventer, who's a friend of the show here at Spaced Out Radio. And we talked about children who had been lost in the woods and were protected by bears. Okay, bears. For a lot of people, that sounds totally ridiculous because it's like, how could a bear protect a kid, right? Because they just want to eat us, is what we think. Not to say it's not possible, right? That could happen, but yeah, Fred has a couple of stories on his YouTube channel that I'm going to talk to him about tonight, involving children who had seen Sasquatch out there in the woods. Okay, personal stories. Of even communicating with Sasquatch out in the woods. And it's my opinion. It's just my opinion, y'all, because I do a lot of boots on the ground research out in the field. It's my opinion that these kids were encountering Sasquatch that protected them for days on end until they were found eventually. And I don't know. I was going to ask Fred about the connection he thinks the Sasquatch have with kids. And so I can't wait to hear what he has to say about that. It's gonna be a good time as soon as he gets here. Also, you guys, I was at the Journey to Truth conference while we're waiting for Fred to get here. I was at the Journey to Truth conference in Grafton, Illinois last week, and my friend Barry Littleton was there with me, some fantastic friends. And to shout out to everybody in the chat tonight, anybody who's watching this who was there at the conference that I got to meet. Oh my gosh, I got to present on all of my research that I've done out in the field. It wasn't all my research, of course, but I got to do a big presentation talking about a lot of my remote viewing targets that I've done and the ones that Barry and I have done together. And we kind of combined our presentations together. That was such a fantastic conference, and it was such a great thing getting to meet all these new people. So I met a whole new genre, I guess you could call it, of people that I'm going to be bringing on my show here soon, from Jack Doubleday, okay, who talks about the terraforming Terra, okay, the terraforming of Terra, and how our Earth may or may not be completely organic. It's almost like something came and made our mountains and made, like, there's seams in the mountains and things like that. It was wild. And even Brooks knew we're going to talk about inner Earth at some point. Okay. And then we've got the whole secret space program crew. Okay. All those guys. I was not familiar with all of that. And so we're going to be expanding a little bit here on the Cryptid Huntress, not only talking about, it's not the Cryptid Huntress YouTube channel. It's Spaced Out Radio, right? So we can pretty much talk about anything. We're going to be expanding a little bit, and we're going to be diving into the world of secret space stuff a little bit occasionally. And even some of those guys were telling me that they had experienced cryptids in these underground bases. Okay. And I know it's controversial. Okay. I know it's a little controversial, y'all. I get it. And but we're going to talk about it. I am not scared to cover these topics, and just to get the people who have experienced these things on and tell their stories, because I got to tell you, some of their stories lined up with some stories other people had told me about some of these chimeras underground. And you guys are totally into chimeras. I know my crowd. We're all into chimeras. Yes, I did get my computer up and going too. Oh, hey, Candy. And yes, I hope that my connection stays okay. And I hope that Fred shows up at some point. That'll be fun. But yes, my computer's up and going, you guys. And by the way, I did get my computer zapped at the airport when I was flying from Atlanta to Las Vegas. My computer didn't make it somehow. So imagine that. So I had 2 trips, two conferences, 2 events to go to with no computer once I got out there. So I did buy a new computer as soon as I got home, and this is it. And it is glitching out a little bit. So yeah, go figure. We're gonna get it one day. When I strike it big one day, we get it. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I'm just saying. Yeah, we're working on it. So yeah. So Fred, yeah, Fred's coming. Fred's coming. I see you. Okay. Hey, Midwest Night Watchers. Yeah. So, anyways, like I was saying, I'm always into it for a good chimera talk. Okay. And for those of you who don't know what a chimera is, I believe it's where you take two beings and splice them together, kind of like a human, let's just say a human spider mix. Okay. That's one of the things I'm going to be talking to these guys about, something that they've seen underground, allegedly. Okay. And yeah, and all this human cloning that's going on and things like that too. Um, the human cloning, that's just such a big topic right now. So I don't think there's a whole lot of that going on up in Alaska that I'm sure. I'm not sure of it. I don't know what's going on in Alaska actually, other than this dark pyramid, all the hairy man stories from out of Alaska, and what else we got? I don't know. I guess harp and stuff like that, and portlock. I know that Fred has a very interesting story that he just told about a gentleman. One of his last stories on his YouTube channel. It was about Derek. Derek, I'm sorry, Vegas sucked. I didn't get to meet you there. I think you were there. Vegas does kind of suck a little bit, but I also liked it. It was the people that made it fun. Okay, it was the people. Um, but yeah, there was one of the last stories that he posted on his YouTube channel so far is about a gentleman who encountered a hairy man near Portlock, Alaska, and so we're going to be talking about that tonight too. You guys know I have really delved into the Portlock mystery, and while we're waiting for Fred, I can go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about that if you're interested. I say let's do it. Let's talk about Portlock for a minute. How about that? Yeah. Back in the day, I believe it was the early 1900s, maybe like 1800s. I can't remember the day, y'all. But there was a little town that was created to have a cannery or a fishery, I think is what they call it, in Portlock near Port Chatham, Alaska. It was a very remote area, just like most of Alaska is, and they built this cannery, and there a whole bunch of people came in to work there, and they had to go build their own houses and create their own community, of course. And we're having to go into the forest, chop down trees and things like that. They built this little community in a beautiful, beautiful cannery, like a beautiful industrial looking building. And no, I didn't go on a roller coaster with Dave. No, I did not. Thank you, though, James. so, so they built this beautiful industrial cannery there, and they were bringing in people, shipping in people to work there, and eventually, like people were going missing. Okay, there was word that there had been like Sasquatch spotted in the area, and there were a lot of people that went missing. I think by the end of like the year, there were about 30 people that had gone missing, and their body parts were floating up on shore. Okay, like where these people had been, their bodies had been mutilated and torn apart, and it got to be really, it was really bad. I mean, these people would go into the forest to go chop down some trees. They go out to go fishing down the river. They'd never come back, and then one of their body parts would, you know, wind up in the river. It was really bad. It got so bad that the town was eventually evacuated. Okay, and so I know there's a TV show that's been on. I don't know the name of it because I didn't watch it. Okay, but I do know. I think our friend to the show, Ron Moorhead, actually visited Portlock. I don't think that he really had a really good time. He said it was really creepy up there. But yeah, the mayor of the town or whoever it was, the head of the town, advised everyone to leave. Okay, because it got so bad, because so many people had gone missing and so many people had been killed. Um, Now, y'all know I do this little thing called remote viewing, right? And that was a target that was tasked to me at some point, and it was the mystery of Portlock, Alaska. Like, what happened to all of those people? Like, how those people get killed? And there were absolutely Sasquatch up there that got mad that there were people there taking all their resources, and they began to pick them off basically one by one as they would go into the forest. And so these were not just like Bigfoots like Patty. These are gigantic Bigfoots, like 12, 15-foot tall Bigfoots. And they had what they called they'd drawn their line in the sand. Okay. And anybody who crossed that line was fair game. And so yeah, so eventually the entire town left. I believe the postal service man stayed for 1 year after everybody else left. But the town was abandoned for a very long time. I don't think that anyone even lives there. Tim Mothman's in the house. He was in Vegas with us. Hey, Tim, thanks for being here. And so yeah, we're gonna talk to Fred about that because I don't know if anybody lives there anymore. I would assume not. I absolutely would not. Now, another thing that I'm going to be talking to Fred about tonight is something that we've never gotten to finish our conversation on because our connection always goes out every time I have Fred on. And there was one show that we were doing, and we were talking about Bigfoots protecting the gold mines, and oftentimes Sasquatch are seen near gold mines and some sort of natural resource area, uh, any kind of quarry. And so it leads you to wonder, like, are they guarding these gold mines? Are they working in conjunction with perhaps something? Let me just put it out there, like say ETs perhaps, to mine that gold. I mean, that's a good question. I think I did ask Fred that last time, and before we got cut off, he let it be known he's never experienced ETs out there. So yeah, but we'll still talk about it a little bit tonight. As soon as Fred shows up tonight, he said he'll be here in just a couple of minutes. So, yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, sorry y'all. This kind of stuff happens sometimes. Also, we got more stories about people picking berries out in Alaska and encountering Sasquatch. Now, I don't know if you guys are also familiar with Missing 411, David Politis. That is one of the go-to number one things. It's like something that is very common in these missing people reports where people go missing, they're never seen again because they were out picking berries. Okay, what's up with that? I don't know. They're picking berries and they have Sasquatch experiences. And I'm a whole lot like Fred. I don't think that Sasquatch is the reason that a lot of these people are going missing. I think there's a whole list of reasons why 500 to 2,000 people go missing in Alaska each year. I think that I think that it's a whole host of other things. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm seeing all your comments tonight. And yes, I still don't know how to play craps, Tim. I did not play craps. I played blackjack. That's the only thing. And I didn't know how to play that either. Okay, but I did walk away with a little bit of money. Okay, so the chimera. This is a great question. A chimera is 3 splice things, right? I don't know. I thought it was at least 2. It's probably 2 or more. So if anybody else in the chat knows, you guys let us know tonight. Yeah, and we do have a lot of celebrities that are cloned. I just saw another comment about the human cloning, and there was a rapper. I can't find that comment now, but there was a rapper. His name was Kid Boo, and he claims to be a clone. Okay, Kevin Hart has claimed to be a clone. There are plenty of famous people that claim to be clones. I actually posted a little clip of a video just for fun of Will Smith with like 6 other Will Smiths in the video with him. So it's something super interesting to talk about. And if you guys want to see that, I'll try to put it back on my YouTube channel or my Instagram on my stories this week. And you guys can see Will Smith talking to Will Smith, hanging out with another Will Smith, and they're all there together. So what is this world coming to? I don't know if we'll ever know. I have no idea. I also have a request to talk to Fred tonight about the little people of Alaska. My friend Barry Littleton, who I talk to just about every day, he always asks me, I think this is not the first time he's asked me to ask Fred about the little people in Alaska. So if you guys have any kind of suggestions, you want to put them in the comments tonight on and some things up in Alaska that you've heard about that you'd like for me to ask Fred about, put them in the comments tonight, and I'll write them down. I'll make a list, and we'll get that going. Yeah, and we're gonna have a good time doing that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love Dave Scott, by the way. Dave's the best. He was the coolest in Las Vegas. Yeah. So Justin says he's never heard of a Bigfoot over 10 feet tall. Well, I have. It's really crazy. Bigfoots can get gigantic. Even Dogman. I've heard. I had Javier Morales on my show on my channel, The Cryptid Huntress, this past week, and he was talking about a Dogman that was at least 10 feet tall. Okay, that he saw with his own eyes. And so not only do Bigfoots get that big or bigger, but so do these dogmen. And Yeah, it's a little scary. A little food for thought there. Next time you're going out into the woods with your family camping. Okay. So, yeah. I think the man messes with their internet too. Yes, you know what? I think that our internet connections do get messed with too, probably. But Fred is out in Alaska, you guys. He's way out in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, he's out in the middle of nowhere. It's somewhere. Um, but yeah, he said that he was driving somewhere else to go get better service. So this seems to be it. It seems to happen every time. Just about we have we have him on the show, and I love Fred, and so we're going with it. I'm still inviting him on the show whenever I can because it does not matter. I'm still going to bring him on. But yeah, so a lot of the stories too. If you think back to like the Ape Canyon story here in the United States, I think that was the U.S. Washington maybe. Bigfoots are often seen by miners. Okay, and I think that was the connection that I was trying to make when when I was talking to Fred about the gold mines and the Sasquatch being around all these gold mines was a lot of miners that are prospectors for gold back in the day were seeing Sasquatch. One of them was kidnapped by a Sasquatch. Albert Osman up in I think it was British Columbia, I guess, somewhere up in Canada. My friend Dave Scott would know because he's from Canada. I don't know Canada at all. I'm down here in Georgia. You know, I played the fifth. I don't know a whole lot about Canada. Okay, but Albert Osman was up in Alberta, I guess, or I don't know wherever he was, and he was out there doing his prospecting all by his lonesome, and he got grabbed up like a burrito in his sleeping bag, thrown over the shoulder of a Sasquatch, and was taken on an hours long journey to the Sasquatch's family's cave or something like that, and hung out with this family for quite a while with the Sasquatch family. And yeah, lived to tell about it. He actually got away, and it was a big story. It was all over the newspapers. He actually got interviewed by a local newspaper company, and he pretty much lost his entire reputation. Okay, his entire good reputation went out the window. And so we wonder, why do more people not come forward with their Bigfoot and Sasquatch encounters? It's because of stuff like that. I mean, they make us look like we're crazy, right? When we talk about it. So the same happened with Albert Osman back in the day. In those days, they actually had newspaper articles all about the wild men all over the US and all over North America, much like the hairy man they got up in Alaska. So back when the newspapers told the truth a little bit better than they do today. Necromechanimal, I want to thank you so much for all this amazing artwork you're putting out with the Cryptid Huntress and the Strange Road with Mikey and Bubs from the Strange Road. You are awesome, and your artwork with the Joe Rogan podcast, all that stuff. I just adore you. I think you're awesome. Yeah, he thinks Bigfoot was bigger because of age or region or other variable. Absolutely. I think they're probably bigger in Alaska because everything's bigger in Alaska and in Texas, right? So, yeah, probably so. I mean, we have smaller sized Bigfoots down here in Georgia. Not to say they're tiny, but they're not like 15 feet tall usually. The ones that we encounter would be about 7, 8 feet tall, 6 feet tall, something like that. Just depends. It really just depends. Like the skunk apes down in Florida, they're actually kind of small. Just like the yowies in Australia are known to be kind of small too. So it is food source, it is environment, it's water source, it's all that stuff, I'm assuming. So just like any kind of animal, even though I'm not calling them animals. All right, I'm not calling them animals. I think they're hairy people. I think they're hairy people, hairy men, like Fred says. So yeah. Oh my God. Some of these comments, you guys are off the chain tonight. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up here because it's funny. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's why they're guarding the gold mines, Glenn. I think so. He said that Sasquatch could have gold teeth, okay, and gold chains. Absolutely. I think that'd be the new fashion statement for the Sasquatch out there. But yeah, there's no one set answer. Thank you, Digger. There's no one set answer. There's no one set answer to any of this stuff. Not at all. Okay. Well, hey, why don't we talk about this since Fred's not here? I have some stories about the little kids that were being protected by Sasquatch. Okay. I always have a backup plan, y'all. Okay. If Fred doesn't show up, I know I can talk about just about anything. So, like I said, if y'all have anything y'all want to put up here to ask Fred if he's able to make it back, we'll ask him. I'm sorry, I'm totally behind on Baby Bigfoot. I'm totally behind on the comments tonight. The waving Bigfoot, that was actually a gift that I was given from at the Alabama Bigfoot Conference last year by Tex Wesson of Texas Front Porch. He gave me that. So we got that at the Alabama Bigfoot Conference, which I think is coming up next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make that conference. It's my son's birthday. So we may or may not be having a big old birthday party that day for my kid. I'd love to go. A lot of great people are going to be there. I am not a part of that conference. I would have loved to have gone, and I might still try to go just to go see everybody. Yeah. So, but no, I don't think any of my team's really going to be there. I think Greg is going to be there. Greg Oglesby. I can't remember Greg's last name. Greg goes out with my team sometimes, and he's going to be there. He's a filmmaker, documentarian, and he'll be speaking there. So yeah. But Fred is not coming tonight. I know, Derek. I think Fred said he's still coming. So we're holding it, we're keeping the faith. Okay. Okay, another question. Is there more woo in Nome, Alaska compared to Fairbanks? I have no idea. I don't know like the towns in Alaska. I don't know where they are. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Nome, Alaska is where that, what is it? The Fifth Kind or the Fourth Kind, that movie about the doctor who, I mean, all these people are getting abducted from up there. There's a lot of ET activity in that area. So I have no idea, but we're going to ask Fred that. Okay. So we're going to ask Fred that. Could be on a ley line. Let me write that down. Nome and Fairbanks, so I don't forget. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, Fred, last time he let it be known that he's never had an encounter with a UFO or an ET. So he may not make that connection like I would. But we've all had our different experiences and we look at things in different perspectives. So it's cool to get everybody's perspective on this stuff. So I would just assume that it's got something to do with ET, Justin. Okay, but that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Oh my gosh. Yes. And hello. I got my friend Tyler in the chat tonight. We had turpentiners have run-ins with them here back in the day. What is a turpentiner? Is that like a moonshiner? I don't even know. Turpentine, that's like something you put on. So yeah, shows you how much I know, you guys. I have no idea, but thank you, Tyler. So Tyler lives in Florida, y'all. So he's down there with all those skunk apes. He has some of the best skunk ape footage actually from the power lines, like a skunk ape running through the power lines down there in Florida. If you get a chance, go to Tyler Howell Outdoors. You guys go subscribe to his YouTube channel and check out his YouTube channel. Oh my gosh. This is a good point. Yes, Candy. Fred should go to a McDonald's when he does my show to get good Wi-Fi. Yes. I love that. Oh my gosh. I need to go to McDonald's to get good Wi-Fi. Okay. How about me? You guys are going to see me broadcasting live from McDonald's one day. Probably. Here at the Spaced Out Radio, we spare no expense. For real. For real. And so yeah. So let me get back to this. I was going to talk about Sasquatch. We're here to talk about Sasquatch tonight. I have some stories from back along. Some of them are from a long time ago. I believe it was from, well, there's the 2019 one, and I've got one from 1888. That's way before I was born. Okay, let's start with the 1888 case. There was a little girl who went missing I guess she was 2 years old. She went missing in a valley, okay, the Kootenai, I can't pronounce that, the Kootenai National Forest in Montana. And she said that she had been comforted by a bear when she was lost in the woods. Okay, she was reported missing. They sent out search teams to find her. She was found and was comforted by a bear the entire time she had gone missing. Wow. Actually, that was in 1955. but there was one in 1988 too, or 1888, y'all. Okay, so those are two little girls that were both 2 years old that went missing that both said they were comforted by a bear in the woods. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a Bigfoot field researcher. That sounds fishy. I don't buy it. Okay. I think that there are good bears out there that would just love, they would just love, thank you. I like hanging out with you too. They would just love to, it'd be a meal, right? I mean, the kids, I don't buy it, y'all. Okay. Okay. In 2019, here in the US, okay, a 3-year-old boy named Casey Hathaway went missing while playing outside his grandmother's house. I believe that was in North Carolina, not too far from where I live. Despite enduring freezing temperatures and heavy rain, the story has a happy ending. He survived the harrowing experience, thanks in part to a bear who kept him safe and warm. Hathaway's disappearance brought out seasoned searchers as well as everyday people concerned for his well-being. Upon learning he was missing, law enforcement, the U.S. Marines, professional search teams, and volunteers went looking for him. He was found after a neighbor was walking her dog and heard him crying from the bushes about 40 to 50 yards away from the road. Thankfully, he was relatively unscathed, just some scrapes and bruises after his time spent outdoors. That's what he told his family about the bear. He said he hung out with the bear for 2 days. The creature looked after him until he was found. His aunt said that God sent him a friend to keep him safe. God is good. God is a good God. And that miracles do happen. Miracles do happen. Could have been a bear. Could have been, absolutely. But I just think that in these cases, I do believe that they could be like wild men or bears. And yeah, y'all know I remote viewed some of those cases, right? I did some remote viewing targets. I was tasked a couple of those targets, and I did detect Sasquatch, not bears. Yeah. Catherine is in the chat. This is Catherine. We're cousins. Okay. We found out we're long lost cousins. She came to Las Vegas and is a big fan of the show. Catherine, thank you so much for being here. And please get in touch with me. I can't find your contact information. We got to hang out. I mean, Catherine lives not too far from me, y'all. And we had a blast in Vegas. And it's because of Catherine and fans like Catherine that this show blows my mind. Being able to do this, I have so much fun. If y'all can't tell, I'm having a blast right now. I know Fred's not here. But you guys are with me. We're on this crazy ride here at Space Out Radio. We're going to make it happen regardless. I'm still waiting for Fred to show up too. And it's okay if he doesn't. But yeah, Catherine, get in touch with me, please. And let's hang out and go do some sky watching or go Bigfooting. Okay. So that's the thing, you guys, when people come to these events and we become friends, you get to maybe potentially go on Bigfoot hunts with me. Okay. So I'm just saying, y'all better start showing up to these things. Come to some of these conferences that I'm at. And I think the next one I'm going to be at will be the Dogman Conference out in Fort Worth, Texas with Josh Turner and the Paranormal Roundtable. We're going to be out there. I'm going to be talking about all of my Bigfoot field research, everything that I'm doing. I'm actually going on an investigation in about 3 weeks up in East Tennessee. Okay. So y'all know I'm excited about that one. I talk about East Tennessee all the time on my shows. We talk about the Oak Ridge Labs and all the weird Large Hadron Collider stuff going on down there. The packs of wild dogs killing people and mauling them to death up there that I don't believe were packs of wild dogs. I'm going investigating like 500 acres up there with a team of folks. And I'm going to have a lot of stories when I come back. Hopefully I come back. I'm just kidding. I'll be back. I'm not going anywhere. Y'all pray for me. Okay. Because it's going to be a fun time up there. But yeah, I'm going to be probably talking about that at this conference and all this research that my team does and that we do out in the field. That's Labor Day weekend, September 1st through the 3rd. I think the conference is actually the 2nd and 3rd, but if you get VIP tickets, you get to come hang out with me on Friday night. So yeah, y'all come hang out with me. You might just get to go Bigfooting with me at some point if we become friends. Okay. So yeah, y'all come do that. And yes, Fred is living his best life. And we all are. You guys, this is it's going to be amazing if I do get to talk to Fred. His channel, please go and subscribe to his channel. Not right now. Y'all stay here with me, okay, until the show's over. But y'all go subscribe to Fred's channel when we get done with the show tonight, and show him some love. He tells firsthand stories, or I guess it's from him, it's secondhand stories of real life, incredible, life-changing encounters with Sasquatch, with the hairy man, all over Alaska, by locals and by people that he know. Okay, people that he knows. Okay, personal people, and yeah, some of the stories are absolutely terrifying. That's why I put it in the title tonight, terrifying encounters, because it's life changing. And yeah, if I haven't learned anything else from doing all these shows that I do, it's about the trauma that people go through when we're having these encounters with cryptids and things that aren't supposed to be there. Yeah, speaking of which, on that property that I'm going to be going up there and investigating, that's with a lady named Farah. Farah, she has a really awesome podcast called Conversation Cabin. I suggest everybody go check that out too. I'm plugging everybody tonight. See what happens. I start plugging all my friends when I have the chance, because I love everybody. And I think that anybody who's got like an amazing YouTube channel, an amazing show, I want everybody to share the love, spread it. Okay. And so Farah's got a great podcast. I want you guys to go check her out. We're going to be going up to her, where she lives, in her cabin, the Conversation Cabin. She has a cave right outside her back door. Okay. I'm actually going to be trying to talk with some of my teammates into going up there with me. Craig and Keith, probably. Craig is a cave specialist. She has a cave about 30 feet from her back door, I think she said, where it's on land that belonged to Chickasaw and the Choctaw Native Americans. And I mean, 500 acres, y'all. That's a lot of land. And she's got something that runs up behind her house and will smack her house. She's heard screaming, like Bigfoot screamings, howls. There's been dogman sightings. I believe there's an underground base there underneath her house, perhaps. She said that when they're sleeping at night, sometimes their bed will shake, and it shakes so like a train's going underneath her house. Okay, so we're going to be checking all that out. We've got a team of some serious dudes that are going to be going up there with me, and potentially some of my teammates. And like I said, we're going to have a whole lot of stories to tell. And yeah. Ooh, okay. This is a good one. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to come back with all these recent, I'm going to have some recent stories for you. I got some recent stories. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah. I'd like some more recent stories too. That's why Fred was coming on today. Okay. Because all his stories are pretty recent. And so, yeah, that's what, like I said, I guess I still got 20 minutes. Potentially he might show up. But if he doesn't, I can tell you some stories too. Yeah, we were just at the Meadow this past weekend. I know you guys love hearing about my personal stories too, with my research out at the Meadow. For the viewers who are not familiar with the Meadow, that is a big chunk of land that my team researches. It's out in the middle of nowhere in the south at an undisclosed location. There has been a book written about it. It's called the Meadow Project: Explorations into the South Skinwalker Ranch. And we were just out there last weekend, a week ago. And yeah, we had some new people that came out there with us and were very psychically switched on humans. And yeah, somebody be a snake. I guess you're referring to me. Yes, I'm bait. And I do like to be bait, by the way. That's just my life's mission, is to be bait when we're out there doing our research. But yeah, we were out there. We had some new people on board. Okay. We had Josh, I think it's Josh Chinchek. Okay. Was with us. He writes with, Josh Nanokio from What Lurks Beneath. I think I'm like stumbling over my words because I don't really know exactly the names of these shows. But Josh, he's out there with us. He's an author and a cryptid researcher. He was new to our team. And I also had Shay and Christy Hudson were with us, and they are very psychically switched on humans. So guess where the head of our team put me that night? He put me on a team with those two, the husband and wife team, and they stuck us right on top of where the portal opened up out in the Meadow. And so we got to spend our night on the portal. Okay, that was Friday night. We hung out where the portal opened while everybody just kind of watched us to see if we were going to get sucked in by that portal. Okay. I survived. We all survived. Thank goodness. But yeah, we did have we have a lot of Sasquatch activity out there, UFO activity, ET activity. The last time I was out there, we did hear a really loud wood knock. But me personally, I don't even believe that wood knocks are sticks getting hit on trees. Sometimes I think that they could be like a mouth click. And that's my opinion. I've never seen a Bigfoot do it with its mouth, but I do believe that could be what that was. Yeah. But anyways, we didn't have any Bigfoot activity, but we had a lot of other weird, strange activity going on. We do experiments and things like the SD sessions where we try to communicate with whatever's out there. Sometimes I'm not so big on the SD session. I don't like those things personally, but the other guys on the team do, and we got some very interesting information out of that. And yeah, nothing to write home about, in my opinion, when it comes to that. But we did have some very weird, energetic stuff going on out there, but no Bigfoot activity. Okay, it's kind of a mixed bag when we go out and do these Bigfoot weekends and stuff like that. A lot of times there'll be no Bigfoot activity at all, and sometimes it's all Bigfoot activity. So it just depends on if the Bigfoots are out there and if they really want to make their presence known. Okay. All right, Kim, please be safe out there in East Tennessee. You guys have a lot of high strangeness, and yeah, please be careful out there. No yowies to report in Australia. So nothing recent of yowie sightings in Australia. So thank you, Victor Bear. That's very sweet of you for letting us know. Yeah, I need to bring somebody on the show that is into the Yowie research. I do have a couple of friends on Facebook and Instagram who are Yowie researchers out of Australia, and I will be sure to invite them on. Of course, anytime we have someone from another country come on the show, sometimes we have a hard time with like getting the time zones right and making sure everybody shows up at the right time and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, just like kind of like tonight a little bit. Not that we're having a time zone issue, but yeah, the Wi-Fi stuff is always an issue, and just getting connected. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry that Fred's not here to talk about it tonight. But you know what? The show must go on. The show must absolutely go on. So, yeah. Oh, another thing about the East Tennessee. See, I just had to give a briefing to all the guys I'm going out with today. I'm going out with like this big team of people to investigate Farrah's property. And I gave them a rundown of a lot of the things that I've been studying and researching out of East Tennessee, including the Oak Ridge Lab, of course. But the packs of wild dog attacks that have been occurring out there with Amber Miller and Tony Aarons. I probably brought that up quite a bit on my show. But that's stuff that we have to really look out for and be aware of when we're out there in the field. So, these zombie bears, whatever's going on. This will be the first time that I've ever researched this part of Tennessee before. And so, yeah, they have lots of Bigfoots out there. Yes, absolutely. It's in the Appalachian Mountains. And whenever we're researching the Appalachian Mountains, I think they go all the way up from like Maine all the way down to definitely into Alabama. Okay. I think they go all the way down into mid Alabama. And there have been everything from Bigfoot sightings to modern day dinosaurs like velociraptors have been spotted in the Appalachian Mountains. Okay. I know, right? So not only velociraptors, pterosaurs, okay, the flying reptiles have been spotted in the Appalachian Mountains. We also have witches, okay, ghosts. We have aliens, a lot of UFO reports. Giants have been known to roam the Appalachian Mountains and to live in the cave systems there. And yeah, I know. I wanted to hear Sasquatch stories too. I absolutely did. We're gonna try to bring Fred back on, you guys. I know it's getting late now, so I don't think Fred's gonna show up. He didn't find a McDonald's to go find Wi-Fi in Candy. He didn't, apparently. But we're gonna have him. We're gonna try to bring him back on another time. This is just it happens. It happens, y'all. So yeah. But yeah, back to the Appalachian Mountains. So we have all these underground bases there, okay? And I pick up on those when I'm remote viewing, a lot of underground base activity. Also, things like the brown mountain lights. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I've done a show on those over at the Cryptid Hunters. Y'all go check that out. Phantom lights in the mountains that look like orbs. And that's something that my team, we report almost every single time we go out in the field. We have these orbs that will follow us around. They start forming in formations and like turn into triangular formations. They chase us through the woods sometimes. Sometimes they're just there. I've actually had an orb that showed up in my tent one night while I was trying to sleep. I think we got it on a camera because we put cameras in our base camp at night, and there was an actual orb that floated through, and you could see it going inside the tent. It hung out in my tent for just a minute and checked me out, and I was trying to focus on what I was looking at. This is a world exclusive. I don't know if I've told this story before. But this orb, it kind of floated around. It was the size of like almost like a volleyball or like a big softball. Yeah. And it floated around my tent and it just kind of checked me out for a minute. And then it kind of floated through the wall of my tent. And because tents are just like a little thin piece of material. And that's what separates me from the Bigfoots out there when we're out in the field. But it floated through my tent, and then you can see it on the camera going into the next tent next to me. So yeah, we don't know what those things are. Are they spirits? I don't know. It's a great question, but they spy. They definitely were trying to get a glimpse. I don't know what they were trying to look at in my tent, but they were there. Catherine, okay, have I ever heard of shapeshifters in Middle Georgia? I have not heard of anything in particular out of Middle Georgia, but it wouldn't surprise me. As far as like werewolves or dare I say skinwalkers go. And what is the obsession with skinwalkers and kids right now? That must be something big on YouTube, y'all. My son wants to be a skinwalker hunter, he said. So yeah, okay. He's been seeing that on television, I guess. But no, I have not heard of the shapeshifters in Middle Georgia. I have heard of a lot of like Rougarou type creatures out of Alabama, like the wolf woman of Mobile. I think that's what they called her. I believe that was like a Rougarou type of being, and I think that is a shapeshifter. Mike is in the chat tonight from Abnormal Investigations. Y'all go check him out too, please. He just did an expose, okay, on the Girl Scout murders out in Oklahoma, where he lives, and he interviewed a woman who was witness to some of the people who allegedly might have had a hand in those murders of those little girls, and there was something to do with black magic. Okay, black magic, shape shifting. Yeah, dark medicine, I think is what they were calling it. But yeah, where humans were shape shifting, okay, into creatures, and creatures were shape shifting into other stuff, and it's just really, 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 really weird and sad. And Mike is going to be coming on my show. I believe Mike and I are going to try to set something up for next week, where he's going to come on my show. We're going to talk about it. That was a huge, amazing episode that he just put out the other night, where he did interview a woman who came forward. I think she only came forward to talk about this, and seeing the shape shifting and knowing that it happened amongst people in her family, where I want to say her uncle perhaps had shape shifted into a werewolf. Okay. And that does happen. I actually have a person on my team who's been on my show. You guys know Tony. Tony Green came on my show here at Spaced Out Radio. And we had a conversation about his uncle, who had run out of the house one day and ran behind a tree. And from the other side of the tree ran a dog. Okay. So, and then when the dog came back in from the woods, it went behind that tree, and his uncle came back out the other side. Now, I believe Tony. I have no reason not to believe Tony. And that's not the first time I've heard a story like that before. Okay. Yeah. So Kat, I've heard of many shape-shifting stories, but not any in particular out of Middle Georgia. So, also in Middle Georgia, and that's right. You don't have to run faster than zombies or bears, right? Just faster than the person running beside you. I get that totally. Down in Middle Georgia, we have a place. It's called the Milledgeville Milledgeville, there's like a hospital down there. Okay. And a lot of weird stuff goes on down in Milledgeville. Okay. And all through middle Georgia, there's allegedly an underground base right there, like a deep underground military base facility down that way. And it's one of the like the hubs or something for the DUMS. Allegedly. And my team does research down the troop herd corridor, which is not in that exact area, but it's in middle Georgia, where they have one of the highest rates of UFO alien abductions in the entire, I don't know if it's the entire country or just in the South. But Dogman reports come out of there, Bigfoot reports. Of course, there is an Air Force base down there, or an Army base, actually. It's, I believe it's Fort Benning is down in that area. Okay, near LaGrange. And so, yeah, not to give our area away where we research, but that, I'm not going to give an exact location away, but we do research in that area. And lots of weird stuff going on down there. So it's not a place that I would take my kid to at night when we're down there researching. I have taken him during the day. We have a lot of fun during the day. It's like a whole different ball game between the daytime and the nighttime when it comes to the places that we're researching. And of course, there's also a big cemetery right there where we're researching. A lot of Dogman reports coming out of that area where that cemetery is, which makes you wonder. You hear about Dogman and the cemeteries and protecting these Indian burial mounds too, right? Food for thought, y'all. I'm not sure what the connection is, but maybe it has something to do with Anubis. I don't know. The god of the dead, right? Or the underworld. So yeah, it's just more food for thought. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of comments, you guys. There's a lot of comments. Let me try to read some of these. I don't want to miss anything before we go tonight, because I just have a few more minutes, you guys. I just have a few more minutes. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm so glad y'all stuck around with me this entire show. I mean, we have a pretty good chat actually right now. I'm impressed, and yeah, my friend Renee's here. Thank you, Renee, for being here. You too, man. Boy, if I could just tell some of these stories. I know a lot of interesting stories, especially out of some of you guys. Y'all are fun. Have I ever encountered a black portal sucking air into it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think I've ever encountered that, Donna. But thank you for that question. I'm sure that somebody has, but just not me. Thank goodness. I would definitely steer clear of that if I saw that out in the field. Okay, so Geo Compass Explorers, you were a forest ranger here in Belize. Wow, we have somebody from Belize in the chat, you guys. And we see all types of crazy stuff. I would love to hear about what kind of crazy stuff you're seeing out there in Belize. Please send me a message. Go to my website, thecryptidhuntress.com, and shoot me a message, you guys. Anytime y'all have some really cool stories, send them to me, okay? Because I do read all of your emails and all your messages, not in a timely manner, I admit, but I read them eventually. And I would love to tell some of your stories on air sometime if I get a chance, and just maybe even bring you guys on my shows. I'm always open to having new people on my shows, new experiences, and people who have had experiences that we've never heard of, like down in Belize. So yeah, you guys, y'all be sure to send me messages, and also remote viewing targets as well. I love that. Either send them to me or send them to Barry Littleton. Oh, okay. That's terrible. I can't even put somebody else's comments up here. I love you guys. What do you think of the power? Let's see. I've got another question in the chat from Justin. What do you think of the power of words compared to technology in the shape-shifting topic? Ooh, very interesting question. If you're talking about like in spell casting and things like that, is what I'm assuming you're talking about, as opposed to like AI kind of stuff. I don't know. The cases that I have looked into, the cases that I'm looking into are more like black magic kind of stuff where there are spells being cast. And so I don't know a whole lot about the AI stuff, okay, with the technology being done, but I'm sure that happens. We've got this portal technology potentially. And the thing that my team encountered out in the Meadow was, I don't believe that was a natural portal. I think that was something that could have been man-made or alien-made. Okay. And so I'm not exactly sure. I think that the power of words is probably more powerful than AI, but that's just me. On a spiritual stance, okay, from a human's perspective, humans are so powerful, you guys. We are way more powerful. I think that we can defeat this AI stuff. Not to get the channel shut down tonight, okay? I know I'm on another channel than mine, but yeah. The power of tapping into our human potential and our enhanced human capabilities is it far surpasses anything in this entire universe. Okay, so I suggest we all do that. And Shade Viking, thank you so much for that super chat. Um, your brother says the aliens are anorexic. Oh my god. Oh no, they are sprite young things, aren't they? They're tiny little things. So little people. I was going to ask Fred about the little people tonight too, and unfortunately, Fred never made it here tonight. And you guys, thank y'all so much for being here. This has been such a fun night to just talk about whatever. It was a free for all. And it's over. I'm so sorry. I wish I could talk to you guys all night. It's been amazing. Thank you again, Shade Viking. You are the best. I love you to death. And I love all of you guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and put Fred's information up on the screen. Subarctic Alaska Sasquatch on YouTube. Please go subscribe right after the show's over tonight. And also, if you have your own encounter up in Alaska where you have encountered Sasquatch or any kind of cryptid of any kind, send him a message, alaskanhairymanproject@gmail.com. And I do have a conference that Fred is going to be at. He's going to be at the Borealis Bigfoot Expo. I believe that's this weekend. Okay, this coming weekend, he will be at the Borealis Bigfoot Expo. I'm not sure about the details on that, but you guys can look that up if you're in the Alaska, whatever region he's in, near somewhere near Talkeetna or something. I'm not positive though. So, it's been amazing, you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. And let's see, let me pull this down before I say goodbye. Please join me again tomorrow night. I'm going to be back here, same time, same place. Hopefully, my guests will be able to get some good internet and show up tomorrow night, or else y'all get me again for night 2. All right, you guys, please join After Hours. I'm the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. I'm headed off the trail. Y'all have a great night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.